Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk Chef. I am one of your hosts, Reka.
And I'm your other host, Jordan.
And we have a special guest today, none other than Lily Dew. Okay.
Hi,
Hello.
Hello.
Now, Lily, this is a Top Chef podcast. Have you seen Top Chef before this?
So I watched season 1 when it aired when I was in high school, and I have not watched it since.
Perfect. Okay, so you're basically like our new followers because they've only seen season 1 for some of our new friends. So you're right there with them. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple little orders of business up top. As you know, we always have a charity we donate to, right?
Yeah.
And this week is a cool one Jordan found.
I'm really excited. So I found this because I follow this person. They are an Indigenous advocate and cook and educator. They do all kinds of things. They're very cool. I believe the way that it's pronounced is Neftali Duran is their name. And you can follow them on Instagram, but they are doing a 43-mile walk to benefit the the food bank of Western Massachusetts, which seemed really cool. And it seemed cool to like give to a person in the community to do something to benefit their community. Usually we just give directly to a charity, but this seems like a cool thing. And also walking 43 miles seems like quite a feat.
Absolutely. I don't know what's the longest I've walked, but it's certainly not 43 miles.
I don't think I could.
In a lifetime or in a day?
In a lifetime.
Yeah, he's walking 40. Sorry, I should have cleared that. He's walking 43 miles over the course of his lifetime.
Okay,
Yeah.
You can do that, Jordan. Hey, I believe in you. You can do that.
Thank you so much. This is actually, for everyone who doesn't know, Lily is my best friend, so I think this episode will have a very interesting energy to it.
Yes. For those keeping record at home, please tally how many times Jordan says someone is her best friend. We do
listen. People are so mad about that because I have too many best friends, and I want to apologize for it.
Who else are you saying is your best friend?
Oh my God.
Best friend.
Some of the worst people you've ever met, Lily. It's so
disgusting.
And sometimes someone she just meets, she'll be like, you're like my best friend. Yeah.
I'm like, thank you so much for the large fry and Coke. You're my best friend. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I connect with people. If anyone in the chat wants to be another of my best friends, drop your handle. Let's figure it out.
It's not worth it. Don't do it.
Yeah. Great. We're so excited to have you, Lily. And our second little order of business is something we did not tell you. A little surprise is much like in every episode of Top Chef, where there is a quick fire. We have a little quick fire.
Do I have to cook for you?
Yeah, you have to cook for us. We're going to give you 2 hours and you have to make something you've never heard of.
Oh, well, good luck with that. Because literally when I'm frying garlic, I have to text Jordan what order to turn the oven on. And she tells me, don't use the oven.
So yeah, I'm like
seeing little pictures being like, is this burnt? Is this burnt? Is this burnt? I'm like, does it smell burnt? I feel like burnt is like one of the easiest things to pick up on.
Lily texted earlier today too. It was like, can crackers go bad or are they just stale? I am eating.
Just want to know. I could have still stopped in the middle.
Yeah, that's true. So we have a series of 10 questions for you, Lily. They're not like trivia or anything. They're just based on your personal food preferences, likes, dislikes, and might have a light tie to the episode.
Tuna, dry, no spice.
Yeah, we haven't started yet.
Disgusting. Tuna is her favorite food. Dry is her favorite texture.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
So it's going to be the fastest quickfire in Top Chef history. We're going to give you 45 seconds to get through these 10 questions. Once Jordan finishes saying the first question, I'm going to start the timer. I'll time you.
Okay.
Don't worry. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Lily. Is the term Far East offensive?
If the way you're saying it, yeah.
Is auto-corrupt?
What? Yes.
Is auto-corrupt. Okay. Ming Tsai, hot or not?
Kind of hot. I thought he was hot, and then I looked at him longer, and then not, but hot initially.
Okay. Do you like to cook?
No.
What is your favorite thing to cook?
Jordan fried rice, which is eggs fried rice that Jordan taught me how to do.
What is the most offensive food?
Like if someone does a little accent when they serve me and they go
Dear God.
da-da-da-da-da.
Okay, lychee or lychee?
Lychee.
Who is the best Top Chef? Okay, you're done. You're out of time.
You're done.
I'm
oh
so
my
sorry,
God.
Lily.
So sorry. You didn't win. The prize was a deed to the Terlata Wine Vineyard, which is a wine no one has ever heard of outside of Top Chef, and a suite of Kenmore appliances that will break upon impact.
What were the other questions? I didn't even get.
You can't know.
I would have answered them quicker if I
had known all the questions. That's not how
yeah.
If you just told me the answers, I would have answered fast.
Okay, let's bring up this fact. You guys invited me on an episode, and the episode is called Far East Feast.
Now,
a little problematic.
For those viewers at home, we do not look at what episode is about to air when we book people. We just book and we go, you're on episode 2. And this is a season I refuse to watch except for this live stream because it sucks so much. So I did not know that. And we're sorry, Lily.
And for those at home who don't know, Lily is Asian.
What kind?
Chinese. 100%.
Wow, some would say that that's not a kind, but a ethnicity, but...
Wow.
Oh, sorry, sweet?
Jordan, you're supposed to say the good kind. You're supposed to say good.
The good kind.
He's a cute one. What do you want to say?
I'm the sporty Asian.
Yeah.
Lily's the good Asian.
I'm baby.
I'm
baby.
I'm Pa.
Yeah, and I'm evil white.
Yeah.
A round eye. So Otto says.
I had to rewind it to make sure that that's what he said. I couldn't believe it.
Wait, what did he say? I didn't hear that.
Lily's got to say it again. I can't say it.
He calls himself a round eye.
In what? To whom? Who was he answering to?
He was talking in an interview talking about how he doesn't know anything about sushi and how he felt so honored to be like cooking sushi for this sushi aficionado.
Ooh.
It was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Whoa. That would okay. I know we haven't started the episode yet, but we've been talking, if you've been tuning in for season 1, we talk about what people on this show believe Asian food to be, or the way they discuss Asian food. It is sort of like it is interplanetary from a different world.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. Nobody on the show has ever eaten, touched, smelled, or heard of Indian food. It's so crazy. And this is just it's so crazy to see it's how prevalent it is. It's like not even a joke. It's so fucking crazy. Can you imagine if the challenge was like make a lasagna? And I was like, okay, literally, I'm not a spaghetti fingers. I can't make it.
That being said, a lot of them knew how to make sushi pretty well, better than me. In fact, a few years ago, I didn't know you could make sushi at home. Just like how I didn't know you could make soup. Certain things I thought were reserved for restaurants to make.
Yeah, I'll tell Lily that I made this is truly, I think it happened. I told her I made soup for dinner and she was like, you can make soup? I'm like, where do you think soup comes from?
It's like a chicken and the egg. We don't know. Did a restaurant make the soup first or did the soup make the restaurant? We don't know.
How did you get access to the special soup machines from the restaurant?
Yeah, you know how like people have ice cream machines at espresso.
It's very fun. It's very fun. Yeah, the one thing that I will to this episode's credit, I will say, is I feel like this is the first time in Top Chef history. And I think Rika and I were just talking about this. I think it becomes gradually better as seasons progress. But I think this is the first episode where they even differentiate between different places in Asia.
Different Asian countries. I was so fucking ready for somebody in the Vietnamese team or the Korean team in the elimination. I know we're jumping ahead, but to be like, we're going to make something clearly Chinese or whatever. I was so ready.
No, they're pretty good about that.
Yes.
Because all of season 1, everything is just like Asian, and that means it has a little bit of soy sauce in it.
Yeah. Fucking Miguel and that Asian pillow dessert.
So.
That being said, wait, can I go to the first round thing?
Keep us on track, yes.
Someone put olives in their sushi and the chef was like, yum. And I was like, that's an atrocity.
Yes.
I understand the idea of an olive, like a vinegary pickly type of thing, but an olive is just the wrong texture, and like it's not vinegary, it's salty.
Salt. It's pure salt.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I liked it. I'm into that idea, but we'll get to all the quick fire dishes. One thing I want to say right up top, this season has too many trucker hats for my taste. Okay. Everybody's wearing like an Ashton Kutcher punked style trucker hat.
Yeah.
This season is very late odds. And it also, I haven't watched the show since like the first season. It starts out like it's the real world. Like they have not figured out reality shows yet. It's like they can just be in the kitchen. It can just be food stuff. I do not need to see them like hang around in cargo shorts, like in their living room.
Yeah, they do continue that, but in a less like, I don't know. Like I read Kwame Onwuachi's memoir, and he talks about how there's something called morning reality and evening reality when you're on Top Chef or when you're on a reality show, where they film you getting out of bed like 4 different takes, or like brushing your teeth like 3 different takes. I'm like, oh my God, these poor people. In addition to Chef Tom waking them up at 4:30 in the morning to be like,
does he do that every episode?
He doesn't do it every.
It
happens a lot. Like things that you could probably just tell the chefs, like, you're gonna have to wake up at 4:30 tomorrow. They'll like come in and be like, hello, everybody wake up, we're gonna get fish.
And then sometimes it's Padma, and then everyone's like, oh, everyone
makes the same fucking joke. They're like, I can't believe I have to wake up to Padma luxury in the bedroom.
It's crazy.
So that being said, they do have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to go to a fish market. Mia is not feeling well and maybe low-key vomits at the start of
this episode. They film her like cinema verite style, like following her from a distance behind the dumpster, like exclusive footage. And then she says, if I need to be sick, I need to be sick at work. And I'm like, that's specifically where you should not be sick.
Especially when you
cooking fish.
That's another thing on this show that happens. Everyone's like, oh, I have an extremely contagious flu. But you know what? I know that this is a test from God to see if I'm tough enough to go into the kitchen. So I'm going to cook my ass off. I'm like, please don't.
Yeah. It does make you realize, like on reality shows, you're like, I get sick every 2 weeks if I stay up too late. What happens? They still all got to be there. You can't be like, my throat feels a little itchy.
I would die. I would die on a reality show. I feel horrible all the time.
Okay, well, good luck on Top Chef Amateurs.
Which Jordan applied for.
Top Chef Amateurs. I think I applied a little too late. I think because they've already started some promotional stuff from it, but
they haven't shown any of the contestants. They've just been like,
so we'll see.
Gail Simmons.
We'll see. Fingers crossed. Everyone, please DM Tom Colicchio and let him know that I should be on Top Chef Amateurs.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the quick fire, I was just going to say, first of all, the 2 things that I thought were very funny right up top, Mikey says, he's the Miguel of this season, I'll say it now, but he says, how am I going to stay in the middle for this one? Which I think is such a funny way to attack a challenge in a cooking competition.
Which one is Mikey, the big white guy?
He's like a sloppy white.
He wears like a backwards hat. Lily, I will say you specifically texted that you do not like him.
Oh, I hate that guy. Bad vibes off that guy.
Yeah,
that's true. He has bad vibes. And then so they have to do the sushi challenge where they bring in a world-renowned sushi chef they have to make sushi for him with the sushi from the fish market. They could get anything they wanted at the fish market. And the one thing that I thought was the most interesting thing in this whole challenge, interesting in a bad way, they didn't make the rice. The rice was provided. And I feel like that's the hardest part. That's one of the hardest parts of sushi.
I didn't even notice that.
That's such a great point, Jordan, because one, in this episode itself, they say, if you can't cook rice, you shouldn't be in a kitchen. And 2, as you said, sushi rice has a really specific consistency. It's not like a long grain rice.
Yeah.
It's a little stickier, whatever, that it does take a deft hand and technique to make. So you're
and the thing or about sushi, or seen if you saw like Jiro Dreams of Sushi, like anything like that, you'll know that the rice is like one of the biggest parts of the whole process.
They also like breeze through it so quickly. I'm like, this is why like a great British Bake Off style is like perfect. Like everyone appears in the tent. I don't find out about how they slept, how they're feeling. And then we get to get into like why they chose the recipes, whatever. This is like, they bought the fish, their dishes are done. And I'm like,
part of why this, and this is so important that you brought up why this season sucks, Lily, because this season in particular to me sucks because it is not only early on in the Top Chef journey where they haven't figured out their shit yet, just with any show, you know, they'd have the same problem, but it is also a season that focuses on drama. And I literally don't care about the drama between these chefs.
That being said, this is the first season where Padma Lakshmi hosts instead of Billy Joel's ex-wife, right?
Absolutely. As we mentioned in every episode, the host of season 1 was Katie Lee Joel, Billy Joel's wife, who he met in college.
High school?
College. She was in
college.
She was in
Okay,
college.
I thought high
and
school.
she did write a book about surfing called Groundswell. And those are the two things we'll always bring up.
And know that the book is like a plot-based novel. It is not a memoir.
It is not an instructional guide on how to surf.
Okay, so the weird thing about this season still too is that they're not telling us what everyone makes in every challenge, which is frustrating,
so
right? I hate that.
I hate that.
As we move forward in Top Chef, you find out more, like they'll go through every single person's dish because, as Rika said, they focus less on drama and more on the actual food. But we're going to go through some of the dishes they did talk about. And Lily, we're going to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down for each dish.
Okay.
Why do you look scared? It's just whether or not you want to eat it or not.
I have so little opinions on food. My favorite flavors are dry and tuna.
Oh my God.
Don't, and she doesn't mean like sushi grade tuna. She means like tuna from a can.
Tuna from a can. I have so much of it at home.
Yeah, Lily's took a picture of her cupboard once and it was like 74 boxes of the same kind of oatmeal that were you the one that found ants in your oatmeal?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
They weren't ants, they were something else. And I kept opening packets to see if there were more. And there were.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
Hey, the thing is, I thought they were gonna crawl out, but I actually poured in hot water and they all died in the water. It's beautiful. DM me, I'll send you the pic.
You know how like a fig can only get fertilized if like a wasp dies in it? That's like your oatmeal, the like apple cinnamon, it like blooms, the flavor blooms when ants fucking die in it.
Again, not ants, something else entirely. Let's get this accurate.
Absolutely disgusting. All right. So for this, one of the dishes they talked about was Mikey's. Lily, this is the guy you hate. He made pretty standard, seemed like sliced tuna on rice with a little squirt of wasabi on top. It seems boring, but I'll say thumbs up. Why not? It doesn't seem bad.
Thumbs down because I hate him. I would spite.
That's true. Lily is very petty, so she would
I'm very spiteful.
Absolutely. Okay, then we had Cliff, who ended up winning, but Cliff made the Hama Hama oysters with mango and jalapeno.
Too spicy. I don't like oysters either.
It is so funny. Lily is the polar opposite of me when it comes to food. Lily only wants to eat like beef, no sauce, a little rice. I'm like,
a lot of rice.
And Lily, am I correct? You don't like beans, right?
I don't like beans.
She doesn't like anything.
The texture is too thick and they don't taste good.
She doesn't like anything. I can't.
Lily recently to a little park hang. It was just like 4 or 5 of us at a park. We all brought, and I will admit this looked good, but it is just so funny. Lily brought potato chips with melted marshmallows on it. It looked good.
That's a little Rice Krispie for you. That's a little Rice Krispie with an inventive little twist that I only learned because Jordan sent me a TikTok about it.
It's true. This really is gorgeous.
One thing about Lily likes a little sweet with a little salty. I know that.
That's one thing that.
She does seem to enjoy. Okay, so that sounds good to me. And then he made a spot prawn with hamachi, shisa leaf, and sweet daikon. I say sure.
I don't know what those things are.
Okay.
I love this. Your thumbs down on anything.
No, I'm gonna like some things. Usually I do not eat that much sushi though, so it's hard for me to give a thumbs up. I don't like to eat raw fish, so I don't like sashimi, and I'll eat like a California roll because it's just imitation crab. But I'll usually do like a teriyaki chicken. And I was raised in a Chinese household, but it's Japanese food, so I don't know anything about it.
So that's what's interesting about it.
Okay.
No, so but weirdly, I have very flavorless tastes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Okay, Mia made a snapper hand roll that the chef immediately jammed into Padma's mouth.
I thought that was deep. I will say there are like 4 wonders of the world within the 17 seasons of Top Chef. And like inexplicable moments. Jordan and I know are thinking of the same one right now in a later season. This is definitely one of those where I was like, I'm sorry, why did he put that in her mouth?
Absolutely. I thought you were going to say one of the wonders of Top Chef is Padma's mouth, is what I thought you were going to say.
Oh,
and it is.
True.
That's
that
one
is
of the other ones.
Yeah, that's one of the other ones.
Okay, did people give it a thumbs or a what?
I'll say sure.
I'll say okay.
It seemed very holdable.
Yeah, like a
little hot dog. Yeah,
Lily really is truly from space when it comes to her food preferences. It's so interesting to give a food a thumbs up because of its holdableness.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
I could eat it on the go. I'm a busy lady.
Yeah. I stopped by for my to-go sushi.
Yeah. I pick it up. I hold it like a briefcase.
A purse, yeah. Bye. Gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go for my run.
Unhinged. Okay, so Otto made a pickled mackerel and a spicy tuna roll. I say sure.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, and then we have the ever so controversial Elia, who made mackerel with olives and roe.
I would still try it. Here's the thing, and this is actually, I think, a testament to how we've been ranking all these. None of these were like, oh, yeah. And I think this episode in general, why I didn't like it a ton, is it wasn't super creatively inspiring. It was kind of like, make sushi, which is like, there's a really wide playing field to play with there, but the chefs didn't do much creatively, it felt like to me.
I feel like sushi's such a hard challenge because they're just like at the fish market. Yeah. And I feel like so much of it is dependent on like the quality of the fish you get and knowing who sells it. Like, and I'm like, they have no control over that.
Totally.
You get a naughty salmon. That's a bad roll.
They will roast your ass if you buy bad product. They'll be like, didn't you sniff the shit out of it in the store? Didn't you stick your nose all up in that fish's asshole and smell it?
Yeah, which I don't think is allowed at Whole Foods. I feel like a lot of times if I was at a Whole Foods and I was like, hey, can I come back there and sniff all your fish? They'd be like, ma'am, no. But
have you tried?
Ma'am, stop coming here and asking.
Let me get back there and sniff your fish. They're like, okay, lesbian. All right. Then Ilan makes abalone, uni, and scallop. I'll give it a thumbs up. It seemed pretty standard, pretty classic, but still looked fresh and good.
Don't like scallops, but it sounds okay.
Uni, I would love to try in another lifetime when I eat fish.
Uni's good. It's salty, and that's kind of it. It's like salty and creamy. Yeah, they call it the butter of the sea.
Oh, I like that.
There you go.
Oh, uni is what, eel?
No, it's
that's
sea urchin, bro.
Yeah,
sea urchin. Okay, bro. Okay.
And then Cliff wins, which is great and fun. We like Cliff.
That's all the dishes they showed?
Yeah, they didn't show. I think they showed one more, which was Frank's at the beginning, but I missed it. And it was like
I'll tell you, Frank's is it was literally just listed as this is like a replica of a traditional sushi platter.
And I like that. I respect that. I'm a little contrarian like that. I like that.
It's like I just made regular food. I'm like, cool.
That's what I like. Hey, that's what I like.
No.
Hey, don't mess with what ain't broken. You know that phrase?
Yeah, don't mess it. Ain't what ain't broken.
Wild.
Put it on
okay, so then they have this challenge where they're going to be feeding 1,000 people. They have to do one hot dish, one cold dish.
1,000 people, by the way, is fucking crazy. Continue.
Yeah, right. I'm really bad at that. I have no concept of like what is preparing a lot of food and what is not preparing a lot of food. Like I'm like 1,000 people sounds like a lot, but how many people are like how many people go to like a birthday party?
A birthday party, I would say
over or under 1,000.
I would say under. Okay, but what if it's like a cool person's birthday?
Okay, I don't know. I've done some Facebook invites back in the day when we were all on Facebook, and even at my laxest 300.
Okay.
And those people are not all coming, so 1,000's a lot. But not everyone's gonna get your dish. Not
You
everyone's
would
gonna
think,
try
but you
your
don't
dish.
know. And they also made a point of saying that they were going to be serving food with, like, at an event where other food was going to be served, which I thought was interesting. They were like, "You're not the only dishes," which is like, okay, who cares? We didn't see any of your dishes.
I thought it was to an audience of like Asian people, right?
We have our top 1,000 Asian people ready to taste your food.
It also was crazy. It was like they showed, I'm sure this is not how it happened, but because of editing, they showed Betty being like, "You look like a woman who loves Vietnamese food." And then they cut to an Asian woman like walking up to the table. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, but I agree that I hope to God she did not utter that phrase to any Asian person.
Yes, absolutely unreal. I'm hoping it was just editing, but even with editing, I'm like, why would you do that? But so they all break off. It's Korean versus Vietnamese. They break off into their two separate groups. One group with Betty, who has a ton of catering experience and seems to be doing pretty well. Like,
as does Mia. Mia also has a ton of catering.
Oh yes, and Mia too. Yeah. And then one group that is drunk immediately.
That was wild.
So fucking stupid. I dislike Elon in this season so much. I believe he's a better person now because he's 24. If for viewers at home, that is the same age of Steven in season 1. And I just think he's such a fratty, like, dude, bro. And this scene, this whole, like, we made some cocktail and, like, got wasted the night before we have to serve 1,000 people after waking up at 4:30 in the morning.
I keep remembering stuff I already texted you guys. So I'm like, we already talked about this, but I'm like, I haven't watched a reality show from like the mid-aughts, like probably since that time. And I don't even think I'm like overly sensitive to like microaggressions towards women or whatever. I'm like, some of them are not real, some of them are real. But the microaggressions and the sexism is like insane. And just this episode alone, like every time it's always a woman being like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be blackout drunk when we plan this. And the guys are like, shut up, bitch.
Yeah, truly. It's very like they call out behaviors as like nagging in the kitchen.
The psychotic looking French looking guy, what's his name? Marcel, he has crazy eyes, I don't trust him, is like shh to her, and I'm like,
it's unwell.
If this was happening in 2020, you would be canceled, and that would be too extreme of a reaction, but you would be canceled.
It is interesting because I would say it does feel pretty authentic too, because I worked in restaurants for a long time, and I remember at one restaurant I looked at, every time I went into the kitchen, some of the guys that worked in the kitchen would like bark at me in a weird sexual way, and I was like, hey, I talked to the kitchen manager and I was like, hey, can we just like not, it would just be cool if they like wouldn't bark at me when I came in to get the dishes. And then I had to like sit down with all of them and they were like, hey, Jordan said you keep doing this. So how do we both change our behavior on both sides to come to an agreement? And
that is like, fair. Jordan, do you need to be going into the kitchen being barkable?
No. Damn, foiled again by how sexy I am.
Yeah.
I hate it. I freaking hate when that happens.
Awful.
Yeah, I obviously like kitchens are notoriously sexist. Wow, I completely forgot until you talked about working in food that the summer before college started, I worked as a hostess in a Japanese restaurant. But I don't, because I was front of house, I don't feel like I faced as much like sexism or whatever. Also, it was like run by like an old Japanese guy, and I think that kitchen culture is probably different. And the other hostess was way hotter than me. So actually I feel like that shielded me from a lot.
Wow, that's a very like she like really was a martyr for you.
Yeah, I just remember she said her other job was she worked at Alexis, and I was like, what? And she was like, I work at Alexis, and she worked at a Lexus dealership. That was her job. Alexis. She works at Alexis. Like we all know. Yeah, she works at Alexis. But I did eventually get in trouble because I wasn't smiling enough as a hostess. And I was like, nothing I can do about that. I can't change that. And they did tell me it wasn't warm to customers. And because when they'd look over, I wouldn't be smiling anymore. I think I would smile when I would greet them and then I would drop it. And they're like, when they look over at any point, you should be smiling. So I'd have to stand at the desk, nobody around.
Very scary.
And then they go, actually, ma'am.
Really smile.
Yeah, actually, ma'am, please return to grimacing. The customers are terrified.
Yeah. Customers feel like you will kill them.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay, so then we get into a challenge. People start cooking, and the big thing that happens. Well, first of all, okay, it's lychee, right? I say lychee, but it's lychee, correct?
It's lychee.
No, this is like a very controversial thing. Some people say lychee, some people say lychee. I think lychee is technically correct, but I do say lychee because I love being wrong.
But in Chinese, it's li-zhi.
I can't argue with that. I guess I've just always heard lychee because I don't know. It's I'm trying to think if I've heard an Indian person say it.
Well, where is it most prevalent?
Probably East Asia.
No idea.
But the reason the first time I had lychee was in Malaysia. And it was in it was like a juice box. It was a lychee drink and it tasted horrible.
Okay.
I will say lychee makes sense based on the way it's spelled, but then I entered in lychee on Google, and even then I played the pronunciation and it goes lychee.
Okay, we got somebody rolling into the chat right now saying, I worked at a boba shop and it's pronounced lychee.
Oh, okay. Well, here's the thing. Can I say this?
Please.
Because Jordan, do you recall when we had this discussion many months ago? Is it lychee? Because I am blanking, someone on Top Chef say the word lychee, and it was an Asian chef, and they said lychee.
I think you're right.
Wasn't it Melissa?
I don't remember, but I think you're right. I think it was Melissa.
And she is also Chinese.
Okay, but assimilation's a bitch. Look, we're talking, is she first gen? Is she third gen? Where is she from? Is she from the Bay Area? Where are her parents from? That's a very white Asian area.
Okay. She is child of immigrants. I'm not here to,
No, I have no idea. No, I have no idea. I didn't even know I was correct until I Googled it. But Wikipedia does say it's from the Guangdong and Fujian provinces of southeastern China. So it's from China.
So then I will defer to you, and I will get rid of the joke I told Jordan many months ago, which was Zendaya is lychee. And it was a joke we all loved at the time. It hit pretty well.
Do you remember? Because Zendaya is Michi. So then we started saying Zendaya is lychee. And then Reiko would send me little videos close up to her face and say Zendaya is lychee. Actually really funny. It actually kind of popped off in a big way.
Oh.
It went viral with Jordan.
It went viral. It went viral with me. It was viral to me and viral in my heart. Okay, wow. Okay, so I just had to touch on that. I'm glad we talked about it. But so then we have this thing with Otto. Otto gets a box of lychees from the grocery store that apparently Marissa hears him say, we got this box for free. Then they all get in the car.
Don't they show the clip of it?
What?
They show a clip of him saying, oh, we got a box of lychee for free.
But I don't know who else heard it. She seems to be the only one that heard it. Yeah. They all get in the car. They all go back to cooking. She's like frazzled, but never says anything until Tom Colicchio walks into the kitchen and then tells Tom, which is, to me, the most bizarre part. It feels like she is just as guilty in this.
I agree in the sense that, like, if she had an issue with it, when Otto told her, she could have said something. I don't want to call it tattling because it's very like belittling. It felt very weird to be like, hey, Tom, let me play you aside about my teammate here. I will say, like, I don't think Otto should take an extra box of lychee from a mom and pop grocery store. That sucks. I do think that this got blown out to be so fucking dramatic. I don't know.
I do think it got blown out, but I also think the people blew it up themselves by not dealing with it. Like, I think if Otto had just been like, oh, okay, we'll bring it back. And then I don't think Marissa, is that her name?
Or Marisa.
Marisa.
Man, I'm pronouncing everyone's names wrong. I just got told it's Zendaya, not Zendaya.
I also thought it was Zendaya.
I thought it was Zendaya too.
It's Zendaya.
Wow.
We're all dumb. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah, y'all know.
So sorry, Zendaya. We're
Zendaya
sorry.
does show every.
Zendaya listens every week. We're
She's a huge fan.
This is so embarrassing. Please keep watching. I also think it's so funny because Otto was the one before that was like, feeding everyone is such an important issue to me because not everyone can afford to pay for restaurant food. That being said, I will steal this box of lychees from this small Korean store.
Well, he meant him. He meant he didn't have money for those lychees.
Oh, sorry. I meant feed America.
Yeah. I thought it was very annoying. I thought Marisa was just as guilty. Because to me, it's like, if Reka is like, Jordan, I'm embezzling money from a charity. Mm-hmm. And I don't say anything to anyone until one day I see Tom Colicchio. And then I say, Tom, Reka's embezzling money from Feed America. And then it's a whole thing. It's like, well, Jordan, why didn't you say something sooner? Why didn't you say something to Feed America? Why didn't you say Reka?
But I will
don't do that.
But I think it does show her earlier mentioning it to Ilan, and he's like, nah, it's fine. It's no big deal. And so I don't even know. That's just like the edit of that. I don't know if she brought it up to anyone else or it doesn't really show her bringing it up to Otto, but I feel like they clearly did discuss it because he's like, so I don't know what got left out in the edit, but it seems like she was like shut down by some of the guys. And again, this was like just a little over 10 years ago, but I do feel like we've become so much more open in the way that we talk about like gaslighting, the microaggression, whatever, where in the past it would just be like, oh, I'm being a bitch, I'm being crazy. If one guy tells me to not bring it up, I should I clearly am in the right. It's so hard for her to just even bring it up.
I guess I fully agree with you, Lily. I guess I'm just so curious as to why nothing was done about it at the grocery store. It felt a little bit like we didn't want to deal with it. We didn't want to get our hands dirty. But then it's like, then later we wanted to do it. It just like felt like it was so messy to me in a completely unnecessary way.
It felt, I agree. It felt incredibly unnecessarily messy. Like, the fact that like, so basically what happens is Marisa tells Tom asks Otto, and to Otto's discredit, he's like pretty fumbly about his answer and kind of, takes responsibility off of his plate, which is stupid because it's on tape.
That's the craziest thing. I'm like, do you not, I know reality shows are kind of new, but do you not realize it's all filmed? Like
all filmed. And so basically Tom says like, that's, like we don't do that kind of thing, and makes him take it back to the store. So they're down one person in the kitchen on their team. And everyone's like annoyed. And then when Otto comes back, they're like, Otto just gives off a bad energy. It all just felt like this is a bad thing he did. It did feel like a thing where if that happened in an episode today, that would be like 2 minutes. And like, they'd be done and not like this big dramatic like downfall.
Because there was too much,
it's like way drama. Too much. Very dumb.
But now Otto's thriving. He's married to a nice Asian woman. Found this photo of him.
Wow, she saw that episode and went, the lengths he'll go to. I love that.
to right the injustice that he did to the Asian community.
This is part of it. He's like, I'm going to marry an Asian woman. These are my amends.
Okay. So then moving forward in this episode, we have the pastry. I feel like a Top Chef trope is that the pastry chef messes up the pastry.
Yes.
Or the dessert. It's such a common trend.
I was going to say it does seem like something that probably happens a lot when someone's like, this is my specialty, and then they mess it up. And I do like that because it's very hubristic, and I think that's fun.
I think it most often happens with people who declare themselves pork guys. And they're like, I'm a big pork guy. I've got a tattoo of pork on my stomach, a pig on my armpit, a pig tail on my elbow, and then the word pig on my back. And then they fuck up pork 7 challenges in a row.
And they're like, this is getting pretty embarrassing because back home, I'm the pig guy.
Yeah.
My wife thinks I'm great at pork.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that always happens. It's truly so confusing. And I get that pastry is like a little more testy than other things, but I'm like, why are we so bad at pastry people?
I think we have a troll in the chat. Sorry.
Okay.
I just thought it was Denise or someone that we know.
Could be. Hey, little do you know, I find it funny. Keep on going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, stay on. Watch the next 20 minutes and donate some money.
Absolutely.
And then maybe one of us will fuck you.
Lily, we're gonna have a talk when we get off this chat.
Sorry, does this show have a rating?
Yes, this is a PG-13 show, Lily. If you would sign on to the
so
chat,
we get to say the F word twice.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, 9 inches for your little booty will love this episode because if you're saying you love fish, but this episode is for fish lovers. Fish is for women. If anyone watched the first season of the show, I would just like to remind everyone that fish is for women. And I think that's important.
Fish is for women. I think that's
so. Now we'll move on to Ming Tsai. Ming Tsai is one of my favorite hosts whenever we like have him on Top Chef. I love him.
Has he been on a bunch?
He has. He's been a judge multiple times, and he also used to have a show called East Meets West, and I can't remember, it was on maybe PBS or something, but I watched it when I was growing up, and I find him to be like an unbelievable. I don't find many men relaxing to watch on TV, and I find him to be a very like sweet, calm, charismatic, talented man.
I was gonna say he has calm male energy, which is pretty rare. His wife is named Peggy, and she is his college squash coach's sister. Look, Jordan and Reika both think I'm a detective, but all it means is that I Google people, and then
Lily, here's the thing. People will like Google like, oh, here's this, like I Google the top chefs and stuff, but I will Google their partners too, because I always like to know who's dating an Indian person. But you'll be like, well, actually, okay, so I found out that she is Indian, but they met actually on a Tuesday, which is so crazy because he was working at a volleyball factory and she was a hostess at a hamburger factory. And
that's the most interesting stuff. Her name is Peggy and her family is competitive squash players. That's the whitest shit I've ever heard.
It's true.
That's true.
That is quite white.
It's true.
Yes, we love Ming Tsai.
Say something that's pretty controversial. I miss 9 inches for your little booty. No.
Where did he go? Did he get booted out?
I booted them out just in case they started to say things that weren't whimsically sexual.
Yes. Okay. I'm just kidding.
I was curious what else they had to say.
They'll DM you later, Lily. Since you some sex. What I will say is my controversial thought, and I would love to know what people think in the chats. And I'm sure this is also added to by me seeing them in later seasons. I don't like Elia.
I don't like Elia either.
Okay, I feel like she is one of the most, I find her to be like very unpleasant. She seems pretty mean. And I remember not feeling that way the first time I watched this season. I thought I really liked her. And now rewatching it and then watching her in the reunion of this season, I have some issues with her on there. And then watching her in later seasons, I want to like her, but I can't.
Here's the reasons I think I am completely with you. I think the first time I saw this season, I was like, oh, Ellie is cool. She just kind of gets caught up in the broiness of the season or whatever. But what I actually think is happening is I think she is like she's like 23 in this season. I think she's the youngest person there. She's very like too cool for school, over it, eye rolly at situations she had a hand in. So that pisses me off. I think that's really irritating and is like a kid.
Wow, this is very interesting to me. Alexander Fellows is saying that Tom has said himself that she is the top chef with the worst attitude in all of Top Chef.
Said that
yes, I sent you guys that clip from this year where Padma says the person with the worst attitude was Michael Midgley, and then Tom says it's Elia, and I'm like, they're both on this season.
Looks like my theory that season 2 fucking sucks is really coming together.
Listen, I'm not saying season 2 is good, Reika. I just enjoyed it. I liked watching it when it was on. I didn't hate the people the way I hate them now. And I felt like the level of interest in the challenges was so much higher than in season 1.
Yes.
That it really titillated me when I saw it.
Yes. It is definitely more interesting than season 1. The people are all the people that would not talk to me in high school. Every single one of them is in this season, except Sam, who would have lightly flirted with me, and I would have been like,
Okay, wait. We talked about this earlier over text too. When I saw him, I'm like, oh, I recognize him. I've eaten at his restaurant in Williamsburg that lasted for less than a year. It was pretty tasty.
I'm sure.
Because my ex like had written jokes for like a Tom Colicchio thing and met him. He is so hot in person.
He's so hot on the show.
He's so hot.
He was so strong and just like chef.
And if you want to talk about soothing men, Sam is very soothing.
Absolutely. He's also a diabetes advocate.
Does he have tattoos?
He does.
Yes.
And I feel like he shook my hand. And
he has a tattoo of a blood drop on his knuckle for his diabetes. Association called More Than Type 1 or something.
Yeah, I do. A very distinct memory I have is this being watching Sam on this season of Top Chef, and I hope he sees this, is the first time I remember my mom talking about someone being hot. I watched this with my mom, and my mom thought he was very hot. And I remember my mom being like, my mom's not very much like this in general, but I remember my mom being like, okay, this guy is hot.
Adorable.
That being said, I do not find him that. I don't think I would think he was. I have only watched this episode also, and he doesn't do much in this episode.
Whoa, way to throw Jordan's mom under the fucking bus. You're like,
look, she got trash taste. Yeah. She got a trash daughter. She got trash taste.
I'm telling my dad you said that.
Yeah.
My dad, whose dog sat your dog. Okay, also, it's so crazy to me because I'm like, Lily, I'm about to make you get your boyfriend in here to say that you don't think Sam's that hot.
Why? Does my boyfriend look like Sam?
I think Ben looks a little bit like a version of Sam.
No. I mean, this season, it's the fashion of the late aughts. It's such a boner killer. He has that little page boy cap on.
Yes,
and
I will say everybody's got like a belt on their neck, a hat in their ear, and like pants on their arms. It's like
they're holding an iPod shuffle.
Yeah.
Somebody wearing the wrong hat for their head, it making me sick. Oh,
absolutely.
Does Lily, who bought a series of tiny hats at an estate sale recently?
They look good. They look good. I said the wrong hat.
The wrong hat. Sorry. Incredible.
But in person, he was tall and muscular and had a low voice.
Okay. Kind of hot.
Yeah.
And we love a man who can cook diabetic-friendly food. We truly do.
Absolutely. So, okay, let's go through the dishes. We have Team Vietnam versus Team Korea. And Team Vietnam made a summer roll with pickled watermelon and chili aioli.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And a pork pho with carrot noodles.
Sounds good.
I will say the moment of Ming Tsai and Josie arguing about how to pronounce pho was it only lasted it lasted like 15 seconds too long. It was very uncomfortable to
What
me.
were the two different? And she had worked for a Vietnamese chef before. What were the differences?
I believe she said fa or like fa. I wrote down fa. And then he's like pho, and she's like fa, and he's like pho, and she's like fa. I'm like, Josie, just either stop talking or say what he says, or just go, oh, my mistake. Just stop it.
Yeah.
My subtitles had the spelling of what she was saying as F-A. So there you go.
One thing that I took a note of that we've moved past, so I must say, when they go shopping in the little supermarkets, the subtitles say Asian inspired dance music.
Very
And
interesting. though.
That's
So I was
that
like, I
Top
gotta
Chef-
dance.
That's that Top Chef generalization we love to hear.
Yeah, so interesting that an Asian supermarket is playing Asian inspired music.
Yes, it's also most certainly
No, it's the music
made
they played.
in post production to be like. I bet it's
Ding,
called.
ding, ding, ding,
Oh
ding.
my
Yeah.
god! When this is for any College Humor fans out there, when we were okay, great.
It was wild. Oh, and their last thing was they made a cucumber aloe refresher, which sounded good to me.
That sounds good.
Yeah, the aloe, I'm not a huge fan of, but I would try it.
And
They were pushing how it was Vietnamese inspired though, and I'm like, sounds like you made a cucumber aloe refresher.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and that was their like bonus dish. It was not at all necessary. So that was their extra one because they only had to make 2 dishes, one hot, one cold. And then Team Korea made a braised pork with kimchi and sticky rice.
Mm-hmm.
And a jasmine tea custard with lychee pearls.
It would have been good if it was good.
If it was good, it would have been good.
I will say, I think that sounds okay, but to me, I know you're shocked from me because I only like East Asian dessert.
Rachel loves anything that's any type of tea flavor.
I will say jasmine is such a subtle flavor, and then lychee is a pretty subtle fruit. So to me, that just feels like too subtle, unsubtle. I think one of those, it either needs to be a stronger fruit, like I don't even know, like whatever, mango or something, or like a stronger tea.
I think the lychee is a pretty strong flavor.
Really? I don't know.
It's
very sweet. I think maybe what I mean is like one note. Like those two things don't distinguish themselves enough from each other.
I see.
Well,
either way, they absolutely hated it because you put skeleton in it. So it seems to be kind of
and then like defended it and was like, I put in the right amount of gelatin.
Which is
tastes fine.
This is why like I love baking, but I'm like, I don't resonate with the part of baking that's like, my favorite thing in the world is measuring, because that is the type of answer you get from someone that is like that, where it's like, well, I put the right amount in. It's like, yeah, but does it taste good? It doesn't matter if you read the box, right? Like, I don't know.
Absolutely. It was very stupid. And so they ended up bringing both teams back to the Top Chef kitchen, as they do, for eliminations. And even though they liked the pork much better on the Korean team, they liked the Korean.
Who made the pork?
I don't remember off the top of my head who specifically made it, but the Korean team made it as a whole, and they liked that dish better than anything from the Vietnamese team.
Yeah. That's so good. I know none of you guys eat meat, but when someone's like, "That's good pork," I'm like,
it looked good.
It looked delicious, and I love kimchi, so I was like, okay, I'm on board with it. But they ended up losing because the dessert was so bad. So the win went to the Vietnamese team, and
that's
Betty
like teamwork.
Won.
Teamwork and like teamwork, right? Teamwork.
Yeah. I think. Say it again.
Teamwork.
Yeah. Okay.
How do you pronounce teamwork?
They. Now I can't stop thinking about Lily saying teamwork. What was I saying?
And also Betty's charisma. It wasn't just the food.
Team, yeah, and even though Benny did scream "Good Morning Vietnam," which I forgot to mention that she did do in the she did win.
That was in tribute to Robin Williams.
Yeah, I forgot they had a Robin Williams like slideshow in the fucking middle.
So they did. Yeah, so they won. Betty won a knife.
Yeah.
Do we think that's a good prize? Drop it in the comments. Do you think one? I think it's so hard because I would like to win anything. If you were like, Jordan, you want a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, I would probably cry because I love winning free stuff. But in relation to like later challenges, I do think it's like a little, I don't care that there's only 100 of a knife in the world. Do you know what I mean?
I think it really depends on like if you get into like fine cutting knives,
sure,
and if that matters to you. Because also like I forget the brand of the knife, but how much does it retail for? Because some really nice knives are like so much money, and for some people who like cut that precisely, I think it makes a difference. But if you're like, I just make mac and cheese, like
so 2 things. One, Betty is like a caterer by trade. So I don't know if like how much like fine knife cut work, not catering, but that she would need to do. I know she probably has higher aspirations, or different aspirations, but like later seasons, they bring in a knife maker whose blades cost $500 an inch, which
that
is
sounds right.
psychotically
if we're
expensive.
going by our viewer, 9 inches for your little booty, that's a lot.
expensive.
That's a lot. That's
Wow, is that what they meant?
Oh my God,
booty?
that's what that was an homage to.
yeah, that
Wow.
was about the knife. Ugh, bring them back. Unblock
Bring them
them.
back.
See if
Okay,
they're still
I'll
there.
unblock.
See if they're
Have the
still
chat.
there. I also really didn't like, again, who's the chef that I hate? I refuse to remember his name.
Michael?
Mikey?
He goes by both.
Michael, when she gets the knife, this is after he's been told the pork that he made was dry, not good. She wins. She gets the knife. He kind of is in the background, kind of going like, and everyone else. And here's the thing: we understand when somebody wins something, you're also not winning it. But everyone else is able to be normal and be like, "Hey, that's cool for you. You won this." He's the one that's like,
yeah. And something important to think about in relation to that is that he does have a girlfriend this entire season, which is so interesting to me, because that's a thing I don't have, and yet this man has one.
Now,
and if you have
yeah, go ahead.
What does that mean? If you have a girlfriend, you're a...
I mean, he's bad and he's weird and he's gross, but he still has a girlfriend.
Yeah, but I don't think having a girlfriend means you're good or anything. If anything, you should be extra bad because then you can just trick women into being your girlfriend. So it's actually really not a judge of character. Maybe everyone who has a girlfriend is bad, actually.
Okay, including your boyfriend?
Yeah.
Including
absolutely
Reka's boyfriend?
Absolutely. I've been telling him all day he needs to sleep more and he won't listen to me.
That's true.
I'm so sorry, Lily. Wow, that was incredible. I'm really glad we got to the bottom of that.
It's just hard for me to look at someone and be like, how can you love them? And then find out that someone who's not their family chooses to love them.
It is. I do think sometimes some people feel validated to be gross and annoying because they're like, well, I have a partner.
Yes.
And like, so like, clearly I'm desirable or whatever. And you're like,
but I never judge someone by the fact that they're partnered up because I'm like, there's plenty of terrible people of both sexes, that can date each other. That I don't want Jordan to date them.
It's true.
I don't a lot of people have been asking to date you, Jordan. I say no, you can't. Actually, I pre-screen.
Lily does control me in a lot of ways. Like, this is a joke, but she did ask me to wear my Fitbit to sleep tonight to track my sleep and then send her the results in the morning. That way she could determine if I'm sleeping correctly because she read one book about sleep.
Because you're not sleeping enough. That book by a PhD scientist.
Wow.
I gotta listen. She's the closest thing I have to a wife. Okay, so the episode ends
with Otto eliminating himself.
He says goodbye. And I think that was bad. I think Marisa should have gone home.
I think, God, I hate everyone in this season so much. I'm just like, everyone should be fucking eliminated all the time. They're all so fucking annoying. I do think
Sam?
He wins. That's not a spoiler, unless yeah, I was torn on an Otto versus Marisa thing. I think like it sucks that Otto stole those things. That's really bad. That's stupid. I do think Marisa is being really annoying, and I think she was making a giant deal out of things that also affected the work environment. Because they're all like, Otto really fucked up the moon. I'm like, did he? I mean, I get that was really annoying and like stressful, and they're already stressed. I don't know. I can't possibly. Yeah. I can't say.
I thought Otto should be the one to go home because it's just about precedence. It's about
fine, but her dish was so bad.
Yeah, but I think worse than having a bad dish would be to be dishonest, to break the rules. Like if you made a delicious dish but like punched a cameraman, like should you stay? Like you have to. Like base level, you have to follow the rules of the show and not like steal from a small local supermarket.
That's fair. I guess I think they both should have been sent home then. I just felt like her dish was so bad and it was a pretty simple dish. I'm like, and then her kind of like refusal to be like, yes, I messed up. Her just being like, I did it right. And it's like, okay, you didn't.
Okay, but what is more worthwhile in a person? Cooking ability or honesty?
Well, I will tell you, this show doesn't give a shit about your personality.
It's a cooking competition, Lily. I don't have to be friends with either one of these people.
Okay, but which do you value more in a person, honesty or cooking?
This is so wild. I can't believe you're saying this to me. This feels wild.
On this show, I will say some of the most disgusting people you will ever see on TV will get to like the final two. And the judges will very adamantly be like, we don't care about their personality.
But are they honest? I'm not saying anything else about their virtuosity. I'm just saying honesty versus dishonesty.
Yeah, dishonesty is bad in general, but I do think it was a thing that got very blown out of proportion. I think it wasn't as manipulative as he intended it to be. I think it was respectable that he bowed out.
Yes, I do wonder if that affected, because this show wasn't that big of a deal in season 2. I wonder if he got like bad press or anything weird from that.
Yeah. I guess I also feel like,
well, he did spend a period of 6 years in the 2010s working for a greeting card company. I looked on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
All right, Lily. So we always do this. I need to know, if you were in this challenge, you could be Team Vietnam or Team Korea. What would you have made? One hot dish, one cold dish.
And I'm factoring in the people on the teams, or
no,
okay, great. Because I'm like, Vietnam got along better, but I don't know shit about cooking. Okay, I go to the Team Korea and we make a bulgogi beef warm and we make bulgogi beef cold.
Wow, bulgogi beef 2 ways.
A duo.
Bulgogi beef is so good. It is such a pity that when you go to Korean barbecue, they give you so many sides and try other meats when all I want is bulgogi beef and white rice.
Demented.
and then a little dessert, a little sweet bulgogi beef.
Bulgogi
I don't
beef.
like kimchi though.
A good bulgogi beef ice cream.
Yeah.
It's such good seasoning.
Wow.
Something else called I like Korean like cold noodles, like, but it's like vermicelli. It's like, right? It's like close to Vietnamese. Like, what is it? It's
rice noodles.
Is it just rice noodles?
Wait, what was your question? I missed it.
Like the noodles the cold noodles sometimes you get with Korean dishes. Is it like vermicelli?
I'm not sure.
Vermicelli is used in a lot of Vietnamese food. I know. I don't know if it's used in Korean.
I don't know. That's why you just got to keep it simple. Bulgogi beef, hot and cold. Wow. And you try it and you're like, each has a little something to offer.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Lily. And I want to remind everyone before we go, we are still accepting donations for the Food Bank of Western Massachusetts. Even if you can't give a lot, if you Venmo me $1, anything really, really helps. It all adds up. If $1 was donated by each person here, we'd have $20, which is $20 that they didn't have before. So that is absolutely incredible, and we appreciate you so much. Tomorrow, I'll be posting how much money we made from our show with Grant, and then you'll have 24 hours to donate to this charity, and then I'll post that in 48 hours. You have 24 hours from now to donate to the Food Bank of Western Massachusetts. Also, one thing I wanted to bring up, which this is something that our international viewers have mentioned, if you want to donate directly to the charity because you don't have access to Venmo where you live, feel free to donate directly to the charity and just either DM us on Instagram or email us your receipt so we can count it as part of the whole.
Yes. And Lily, one last thing. You are Top Chef.
Me?
Yeah.
What do I win?
You win, let's see, $100,000 sponsored by Glad Force Flex trash bags, a little tasting booth at the Aspen Food and Wine Festival, And
how small of a booth?
Tiny, real small.
Tiny.
You don't even fit in it.
Okay,
Really
I'm gonna go knock on your door and collect my winnings, Reka.
Yeah,
I know
okay.
where you live.
Yeah, perfect. And yeah, like Jordan said, please keep donating. That'll be open for 24 hours. And thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week with a new guest and a new episode.
Yes, bye.
Bye.
And